Georgie.
All righty. Welcome to the webinar, everyone. Very excited to have you guys here today. As we're getting started, I'm going to go ahead and add us on Facebook Live. So just give us a second. As you guys are logging in, we have a question for you. And Cam, I'm going to have you monitor this one. It's a new one. We usually ask where people are from or what the weather's like, but here's what we want to know. We want to know, what is your favorite style of pizza?
Yes.
Are you cheese pizza? Are you a sausage and onion pizza? Are you a pepperoni pizza? Tell us more about your favorite type of pizza in the chat. And Cam is going to shout out and see if we can come up with a consensus here.
All right, we've got barbecue chicken for Eileen. Mine is crispy bacon and pineapple. I'm not a ham gal, so I go for the bacon. Courtney's pineapple, pepperoni. Oh, a chicken and onion Alfredo.
Ooh, man, that's good.
Thin crust veggie, another pepperoni. Jesse.
Pepperoni rules the world.
Nice. I don't know where I fall on this. I got to tell you, I think I'm a everything type of gal, or garbage pie, sometimes they call it. Just put it all on.
Oh, ranch, yeah.
All
what
right.
else? There was one I had, it was like chicken Caesar salad. There was salad. It was just a pizza, but then like you put it on top of it. It wasn't like baked in. That was really good.
Nice. All right. Well, we are now live on Facebook. Cam, if you could just check on that and make sure it looks good to go.
Sure can.
I see folks are still jumping on here. Awesome, awesome. Great to see everybody. If you just joined us, throw your favorite style of pizza in the chat. That's the conversation of the day. Food. So I hope you aren't hungry, or you are hungry and you're eating pizza.
We are good to go.
All righty. Beautiful. So thank you guys all for joining us today. Very excited about today's webinar. This is going to be a really fun one. We're talking about how food and beverage impacts guest satisfaction at your FEC. And we're featuring Perky's Pizza today. So you'll get to see some really beautiful gems as we go along. I don't want to give too much away. If we haven't met yet, so nice to meet you. My name is Rebecca Toomey, and I'm the Director of Sales and Customer Success here at Party Center Software. We have with us Jim Howell. He's the co-owner of Perky's Pizza. I'm going to give him a bigger introduction in a couple of minutes, so hang tight for a second. I want to give some quick hellos from our team. Joining us from our team, we have Megan Hawkins, Courtney Drehos, and Cam from marketing. We also have Eileen Hawkins, Tanya Barnett, and Jesse joining us from our customer success team. And from the Perky's Pizza team, we have Anne. She is awesome. Anne, thank you so much for working together on this beautiful presentation that Jim is going to give today. And I got to give Jim credit. He worked on it too. But Anne, you know, she keeps Jim in line. So have to give her some props. So today we're talking about food and beverage in the FEC industry. And Jim, man, I'm so excited everybody gets to hear from you today. Jim is a domestic and global food service veteran, and some of you may know him as Jimmy the Pizza Man. If you have met him at any of the events, you'll know he is just the sweetest guy. You've probably seen him at IAPA, booth 100 in the corner, where Perky's Pizza has been an exhibitor for 28 years. So they have been in the industry for quite a long time. Jim has worked with every conceivable FEC venue to help operators, like all you guys that are on this call today, to achieve the food and beverage goals, produce consistent menu items, and of course, improve profits. Jim has also literally traveled the world. He has visited about 50 countries to bring the great taste of Perky's Pizza to unexpected places, including China, Saudi Arabia, Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, Jamaica, Honduras, Guatemala, Nicaragua, Panama, Virgin Islands, Barbados, Bermuda, Yemen, and Arkansas. I guess Arkansas must be
Love Arkansas. I love Arkansas.
Not much visited place, corner of the world.
Yeah.
But a few interesting and fun facts about Jim. He started his pizza career with Domino's Pizza. He brought Domino's Pizza to the 1992 Olympics in Spain. He helped Domino's expand their presence in France and Belgium while living in Paris. Jim has also lived in Italy, where he worked with 4 Italian partners to open a chain of pizza delivery stores. And Jim is now the president and co-owners of Perky's Pizza. This year, he is celebrating 20 years with Perky's Pizza. Congratulations, Jim.
Thank you.
And Jim is also the co-founder of John Daly Pizza. So you love pizza, man.
Yes, I do. And you left off a couple things, but I want to introduce our office dog. This is our best friend here at Perky's Pizza. Her name is Georgie. She has her own Instagram account, Georgie Bird Dog. She's our best friend here. And you did leave off a couple of things. We're based in the great state of Florida, crazy great state of Florida, mind you, these days. And I guess if you're ever in Florida, come see me because I'm certified by the state of Florida for non-native species removal, which is code for python removal, and land-based shark fishing. So we lead the league in stupidity down here. You're more than welcome to come down and hang out with us, have some fun, you know. I'd like to thank Rebecca and her team at Party Center Software for hosting a great series. I mean, so many of our customers use your product. And the one thing, the consistent thing we hear is that you guys, it's a great product. It's very easy to use the platform and just how great the customer service is. So props to you guys. And I appreciate you guys having us on today.
Thank you so much, Jim.
Yeah, sure.
Are you ready to launch our first poll as we get into this?
Yeah, do it. Yeah, let's.
All right. So I just launched a poll for everybody. If you jumped off the screen, please jump back. We are curious, are you open at 25% capacity or above? We kind of like to see, you know, where folks are in terms of this. So jump on, throw your vote in. Looks like about 45% of people have voted so far. So I'll leave this to go for a couple more seconds.
Yeah.
Maybe a minute. We'll see. Jump on over, you guys. Florida man. Do you ever deal with bufo toads over there, Jim?
No.
Those are those poisonous toads that love to.
Oh, yeah, those are mostly in South Florida, but yeah.
Yeah.
We have everything known to mankind here that shouldn't be here is here. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm also a native Floridian, so
yeah.
Jim and I love to talk about all the craziness that goes on down there.
Yeah, cool.
Awesome. All right. Well, it looks like almost everybody has voted in here. I'm going to end the poll and I'm going to share the results with you guys. So we've got 67% said yes, they are open, and 33% are still closed or below 25%.
Wow.
All right.
All right. Well, this is our overview today where we're going to walk through some things and have a good time. First thing I'd like to do is I'd like to mention one thing that happened this week. I'd like to take a minute to recognize a huge, huge loss to the FEC community in the world out there for us. Jeff Schilling, the founder of Creative Works, passed away this week. So the Perky Pizza condolences all our friends, and very, very heavy hearts go out to Kimberly, their families, and Jeff's awesome team at Creative Works, man. It was just that's a real loss to everybody. But I just want to recognize that, and God bless them and his family.
Thank you, Jim. Absolutely.
We're gonna go all over the map today with food and beverage. This is not the presentation I would have given in February, that's for sure. The overall guest experience with food and beverage and overall has changed dramatically in the last few months, even the last 2 weeks. In fact, the last 2 weeks, California, if anybody's from California, let me know, because they're redefining what a meal is on the single plate. I mean, it's gotten so crazy out there. So there's a completely different mindset out there with the consumer, and what their expectation is, what the equation to what it means to us all, you know. Today there's two camps out there really. Okay, you have your main event and food and beverage folks, and the Dave and Buster's. Those are monstrous operations, large, everybody's familiar with them. Okay, and then the other end is maybe your local recreational little league park where they serve hot dogs and chips. Okay, the rest of us, the other 80 to 90% are in between that, and that's what I'm going to focus on today. Okay, so just keep that in mind. We're here to talk about the 85% of the country and the country clubs out there and the family entertainment centers, because it's no good for me to sit up here and talk about my bowling center that does $2 million. That's out of the ordinary. So let's talk about, let's stay between the lines here. Almost everything I have here today, all the selling items, trendy foods, all these things come from real data from our customer usage. No fantasies, nothing what I think or feel or industry trends. I use data to quantify what I'm going to be showing you later. Okay. I have actually been doing a lot of R&D myself. I'm practically begging to get coronavirus. I'm going to family entertainment centers, bowling centers, restaurants. I'm out and about, trying to keep a handle on what's here. And Florida is very different than Georgia, Texas, and Minnesota. So, keep that in mind as well. I think overall, we're marching towards the next 6 to 12 months. Is you got to dig a foxhole, you got to get in there, you got to lay low, and now is the time to play the long game, okay? I mean, it's a tough market out there, and now's the time to focus in on a few things. And one of the first things should be that your food and beverage operation should be to generate revenue and minimize your labor, inventory, and waste, okay? So that's what we're going to go through today. I am no doctor, that's for sure, and I've never played on TV yet, mind you, yet, emphasis. But until they have some sort of vaccination or something that mitigates the symptoms, it's going to be a while till we get back to normal. I don't know when that is, but I thought in March I'd said, we'll be fine by July, and I was wrong by a mile. So heads up. One of the things in the food and beverage operations, I hear, I go to seminars, I go to trade shows, I do all these, and I hear in family entertainment center, the biggest thing you can do is make a connection, emotional connection with your customer. And that's what generates repeat business, more spending inside of the family entertainment center, and that emotional connection. Everybody talks about it. I'm the guy who says the food and beverage operation is the last place you should be having an emotional connection, okay? Because, an FEC is no place for your mom's meatloaf. And mind you, my mom makes the best meatloaf in the world, but it's no place for it. She's not there 7 days a week making it, okay? So this is the last place you want an emotional connection in the food and beverage, okay? So just keep that in mind as we go along. Next slice of pizza there. Thank you. That's our code to move on here to food and beverage, okay? Overall guest experience, all right? Traditionally, food and beverage is the last place operators spent time and money, okay? A long time. It was an afterthought for years, okay? It was the last place they spent any money, and it got the short shift, okay? I'm still amazed to this day how many people call me and say, Jim, we're opening in 45 to 60 days. We need your help. I'm like, okay. So they have everything in place. They've designed, they laid it out, they got the bowling, the games are in place and everything, and then they call me for the kitchen. Well, I'm good, but it takes a lot of practice to be an emergency room physician, and that's what you're asking me to do when this happens. So being proactive is much better in the long run. But the last few years, though, I will give it to the operators, the new ones. There's more time and attention have been put on food and beverage. The design of the cafes, people are upgrading their menus. You've seen a lot of a real emphasis on quality as well. So that's good. However, after all this progress, and maybe someone on this channel can chime in, but even after all this progress, customer feedback is still related to food and beverage. Almost 70–80% of complaints inside family entertainment centers are related to the food and beverage. And now it's direct, right? I mean, the cell phone is a direct path to Yelp and Travel Advisor and all this kind of stuff. And I mean, I dare say social media is the new word of mouth. I mean, they pick up their phone and they can just right at you without even knowing or say anything to you. But so I still think food and beverage is still a source of complaints. I think there's some things you can do to make your life a whole lot easier as you move along. All right, Rebecca, let's have another slice here. You got the next slide for me, Rebecca? Yeah, there we go. How do we get here? Where are you? I'm on that one. Yep, there you are. Yeah, I think that's the next one. But all right, how do we get here? Mainly, people have too many menu options to execute. That's the main reason. A large menu in a family entertainment center doesn't make it the Cheesecake Factory, okay? So you have to take that in consideration. Labor turnover, that's a big number, and it's a hidden cost for training and guest experience and getting food and beverage up to speed every time somebody leaves. And in the family entertainment world, the tremendous turnover in the hourly employees. So getting that up to speed every single time, every single summer is hard with a complicated menu. Not enough equipment to manage peak demand, okay? You're going to be doing business Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Everybody knows this. Very, very few people actually plan and do it. This will be my 20th year at Perky's Pizza, and I'm telling you, only 5 or 6 have ever started a conversation with Jim. I want to own Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. That's their start. The other 95% start with, oh, I don't want to do anything on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. I'm really slow, so I don't need anything. You know, it's a totally different mindset. The people who want to own Friday, Saturday, and Sunday have enough equipment to manage the peak demand, and that's the 3.5 days that people come to you over time. You know, so the other issue how we got here falling short is food and beverage is not taken seriously by ownership or by the general managers. I mean, it's not looked at as a revenue producing area inside the family entertainment center. I think some of the things I talk about, owners know and want to do, but they just don't pull the trigger, so to say. And I think this is a real issue in some locations, is it's not taken seriously. So let's go to the next one here. So today, let's work on simplifying your food and beverage operations so it's a source of pride. I really think that, again, those 5 or 6 customers that I've had for a very long time, their food and beverage operation is a source of pride. They know their pizza, they know their menu items, they know the pricing, and they know how it looks to the guest, and they take a great source of pride in that. And that you will get credit for that as well from your guests, you know. And it's also a source of revenue and profit. I mean, you should look at your food and beverage operation as an attraction. Okay, so. All right, Rebecca, give me another slice there. The brave new world that we're in here, okay? Everybody knows this, but I thought I recognized some of this. It's very choppy out there. People in Indiana, you're open, you know, sometimes 50 to 100% here every now and then. Florida, we bumped up to 100%, but back down to 50. It's all over the place, but it's very choppy. For those of you who run multi-units in different states, it's quite difficult. I think we've seen some disruptions across the board in supply and distribution. I think those are going to continue as well, because I won't get into how supply and distribution works, but you're going to see disruptions across the board for the next few months as well. There's no end in sight for that. There's conflicting and unclear rules for food and beverage operations. You know, you have state, county, city, different rules for different places. I live in this county of Hillsborough, but the city of Tampa is over there. So literally, you can go 2 blocks from there. 2 blocks from my house are a different set of rules for the 2 different restaurants within 2 miles of each other. So they're very, very uneasy. I think there's some consumer wariness of resuming their regular routine. So people have been disrupted for a while, and I think disruption is what we're looking at for a while. And then the unknown timeline. When this whole thing started, blew up in March, I thought for sure it'd be over by July. Well, that hasn't worked out. So who knows what the timeline is on this whole thing, which means basically means our plate is full. Our collective plate is full. And I think now is the time to take one thing off your plate, one thing off of your worry, and streamline your food and beverage operation to make it an easy place and less worries, at least inside of your business. All right, next one here. The current state of food and beverage, I took this slide in March, and today's consumer has so many choices. You're competing with events that didn't even exist a few years ago. I mean, here in Tampa, we have festivals every weekend all over the place, everywhere. There's probably a dozen. I mean, not so much anymore, but you know, if you think going forward, when this thing blows over, this is what we're looking at right here. You know, delivery options. You know, 3-4 years ago, there was the pizza guys. That was it. Now you have this blow up, especially now the COVID with, you know, the Uber Eats, the Dine Dash. I mean, all these things are just blowing up and making consumers more choices, you know. Beer and wine in family entertainment centers for the younger, you know, those bouncy houses. And for a long time, it was taboo to even talk about. And now we have bouncy houses that have beer and wine license that they're offering it. So all these things are getting co-jointed out there. And then the 800-pound gorilla in the room there is the legalization of marijuana across the country. It started in Colorado in 2012, and the next few years saw casual dining, the Fridays, the TJFs, the Applebee's, and these folks. Those sales have dropped between 20 and 40%, and hardly ever recovered. But meanwhile, pizza delivery has had record 8 record years of sales down the road. So it's a big shift out there as you see it in your state or your county, wherever it is. But one thing's for sure, the experience-driven economy for consumers is here to stay, because that's what they're looking for. So you do that. All right, Rebecca, get there. We're going down to making menu adjustments. Okay. Menu adjustments. Okay, that's politically correctness for cuts. That's what we're talking about here. All right. So give me the next slice there. You're talking about, I say it's simple math here. You shouldn't have 100% of your menu items when we can only be open for 25 to 50% of the time. I just don't think that makes a lot of sense. Just because the great state of Tennessee said you get up 100% doesn't mean people are coming there for a Mediterranean wrap with mandarins on them. They're just not. So I think you have to keep that in mind. Simple menus are easier to execute consistently. So if you have those simple menu, it's easier on everybody. So this is why you need to make those cuts. Rising labor costs, these are going to rise even more. And now that people have been spoiled on these unemployment claims and everybody, that's a big deal right now out there. So those labor costs are going to keep rising. Rising food costs. Right now, if anybody keeping track of their cheese prices, they've just blown up because when the cows don't come home, cheese prices go up. When the cows come back home, they go down. That's how it works. And you can see that. And with the school year in flux, it's just blowing the cheese market right up. So you're going to see this very inconsistently across the country. Rising safety costs. Everybody knows how much it's costing them, to manage the safety of their guests. There's also some tremendous reduced inventory benefits. You free up space inside your cooler, your prep unit, your walk-in, everywhere. There's some tremendous benefits to that. Fresher turnover, and you can also make room for more items of the same thing. And constantly changing public relations. I've talked about that, and I think you're going to see this on and on. It's never going to go away for the next 6 to 12 months at minimum, is what I think. Also, limiting your menu options allows you higher quality ingredients to get a higher price. Okay, so if you have fewer items, you can get a higher quality item and you can charge more for it. So I think, and if you want, you can always put a regional specialty in there, something like that. It's not a big deal. I call this is my favorite slide right here, thinning the herd. I think if you're not selling something right now and it's not generating 10% of sales on your report every week, it should be gone, literally, without prejudice, man. Get that sucker off of there. It's a waste of your space and it's a waste of your time. It should be put away. I tried to put the pizza and burgers right there together because really there should be some overlap in the ingredients that you have for both of those. There should be some synergies, not very much. And I would look at streamlining your toppings as well. And I'll show you in a minute how we do that. But, and then your appetizers, I think you got to lower your appetizers as well. If you 2 or 3, if you don't have alcohol in your location, I think you'll have 2 or 3 appetizers. That's it. If you have liquor, then put 4 or 5 on there, because liquor, as we know, beer, wine, and liquor open up your menu for other things and longer day period. But you got to reduce them. And again, this is for now. It's not forever. You can always go back. We can always add down the road there. No one's going to care. But I'm talking about right now, in the moment, the next 6 to 12 months. This is what I'm talking about, these cuts. Okay, desserts. Chocolate chip cookie, everybody knows it, everybody eats it, that's it, and a wrapped ice cream. The scooping ice cream, that's going to go away. So you got to have, it has to be contained and no contact service, and both of those are available widespread. And then everything else must go. I think everything else must go. I think salads are a waste of labor and food cost. Nobody's coming for them. I was on a webinar a few weeks ago, and even Disney was saying how in locations where they used to have 5 salad options, now they have 1. So if Disney goes from 5 to 1, you should go from 2 to 0, okay? Because it's a waste, especially in this non-contact environment that we're in. You have all the national pizza chains are talking about non-contact, everybody. So it's planted in the consumer's mind. So you go up, a salad is a waste of time and money and labor right now, I can tell you. And eliminating items, you're not alone out there, okay? Taco Bell this week, just on Monday, eliminated 12 menu items from their menu, gone, just like that, okay? Everybody's reducing them, so you're not blazing a trail right here, okay? So take a hard look at the menu. Now, if you really want to have some fun, there's a book out there called Sacred Cows Make the Best Burgers, okay? Go get it on Amazon. It'll help you out. Go through it. It's a beautiful book. It'll make a lot of sense to you. So, all right, let's go to the next one here. Here's my hypocrisy alert. Okay, I just told you eliminate everything. I know. But I think every family entertainment center location should have one unique item on your menu. Okay, you should be known for it. Okay, I mean the latest one that came out, shakaroni. I mean, who'd have thought? I mean, and they're using an existing ingredient. It's brilliant. I mean, it's unbelievable how smart it is. I mean, at Perky's Pizza, we call it the pepperoni madness, and it's double pizza, double pepperoni. It's the same type of thing, but we're using existing toppings to create something. So
hey, Jim, can you tell us a little bit about what that means? It's funny because you mentioned this, and then
yeah,
we were driving down the road one day and we saw it, Shakaroni, on the sign,
yeah.
but I didn't know what it was.
It's the craziest thing. You know, Shaquille O'Neal, the famous NBA legend, Hall of Famer, he well-known personality. He joined the board of directors and as an owner in some franchise stores for Papa John's. And then they've used him in a few commercials, and now they're running this commercial where it's, you know, it's Shakaroni, and it's basically, and he holds up the pizza, and it's a like double pepperoni. That's all. It's called the Shakaroni.
Okay, so it's just his favorite pizza. Or
yeah,
whatever.
It's just his favorite pizza. That's it. So, you know, so a local family entertainment center can do the same thing. Your double pepperoni should be, you know, a double pepperoni with double cheese. Maybe that becomes your famous item. I mean, that's what I use Shakaroni because I think it's hilarious that with all the research and development in the world and all the money they can spend, they come up with the double pepperoni. It's hilarious, you know, and it's working, you know, and it will work. And so I just think you should find one and have fun with it, man, and roll it out there, you know. And over time, it becomes a signature item and a key revenue generator because you get a bigger market for it, you know. Who knows? And also a regional item, you know. It can be regional. And I mean, and I have a customer. I like to pick in Arkansas, but it's one of my favorite states. I have great friends there, and he has a convenience store literally in the middle of nowhere. Actually, if you go to the middle of nowhere, Arkansas, and make a right, go about another 25 miles, then you can find his location. Okay, it is in the middle of nowhere. And his specialty item is a 15-piece coconut shrimp basket. It's hilarious. I mean, and they pile on his sauce, and I'm like, oh, it's crazy. But they sell the crazy out of it, you know. So I think you should develop. Everyone should have their signature item, what it is, and make it easy, simple, and fun, and you know, generate all sorts of social media fun with it and everything else. I think family entertainment centers are built for that, you know, having fun with it, food. So. All right, let's take a look at some kitchen considerations out there. You know, I think you need to take a look at your ovens. They're the most important item that you have inside your family entertainment center. I mean, it cooks, you know, almost, 90% of your food out there. Take a look at them. I know this is a tough environment to be spending money or looking at, but there's some ovens out there that can help you, believe it or not, streamline your kitchen. But take a look at your oven, see how old it is, how many do you have? You know, some of the newest technologies out there in oven capacities, they have tremendous capacity and they cook everything in one oven. They have no hoods. I mean, they're unbelievable out there. They're efficient and they're just amazing. They can cook multiple items. You can put multiple items on a screen. You can put chicken tenders, fries on one screen and put them in there. Man, you don't know if those were cooked deep fried. They're fantastic, fantastic ovens, unbelievable. And the return on investment is very quickly on items like that. So, and some of these technologies in the ovens and equipment didn't even exist a couple of years ago, and here they are. And it's fairly. I love seeing customers. I love going out there, but I can tell you sometimes it's a little disheartening to go see a customer and they have one oven that's supposed to manage 100 pizzas on a Saturday for birthday parties and retail. I just think I think it's awful. I mean, it's just awful. So, I mean, because Party Center Software and yourself, you spend all this time, money, and effort. Most people had a paid party person on their staff. They work their tail off to get people in there, and they buy a warmer for $1,000 to make pizza sit in there for, 45 minutes to an hour before somebody comes to the party. I think that's insane. You know, the pizzas cook in 2.5 minutes now. And you would know if they came out of a convection or off of Wolfgang Puck's brick oven. You wouldn't even know. You couldn't even tell. So there's no reason not to have a couple of ovens to have a good pizza for your guests and all the other items as well. So now some of the other things. Look at your smallwares. I mean, look at your
Before you jump, Jim, we have one question as we're transitioning to your conversation on that. I'm going to throw this poll up here. So guys, jump back over to your screen if you've left. We have a quick question. Have you simplified your menu yet? Actually, that's the wrong question that I meant to ask a little bit later. So I guess we'll ask them both.
Do it, yeah.
Since we're talking about simplifying your menu, have you simplified your menu yet? Yes or not yet? And we'll give it a minute here for folks to jump over and do this poll. And then I'll go ahead and then throw the other one in here too for you, Jim. Sorry about that.
Yeah, sure. Let's have it. Doesn't matter. We're just walking along here.
All right. I'll give you guys a couple more seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. And I'll share those results with you guys so you can see it on the screen. So 77% of folks said yes, they have simplified their menu, and 23% said not yet.
Oh boy, let's pick on them. Yeah.
All right, I'm
Maybe
going to
they're-
throw this other one on here because I know you're going to be talking about this in a second. So stay on the screen with me, guys. Have you moved to single serve condiments in your facility?
Mhm.
So we've got a yes or a no, not yet option here. Interesting. Okay. Jump on over here if you haven't had a chance yet. Now, Jim, I'm assuming too that folks can reach out to you with questions about kitchen considerations and things like that. If they have any questions about any of this stuff, they can reach out to you, correct?
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right. And his information will be in the follow-up email to this webinar. So don't worry. We'll give that to you. You can email him day and night. If you have a Python, you can also email him.
Yes, we can come get it. Yeah. I love speaking with customers about, just to be a sounding board for them, not necessarily make a rate and make suggestions or anything like that, but be a sounding board, I mean, that's what we're here for.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. So let's end this one and share the results. 77%. Wow. Wasn't that the same as the last number too? Said yes. And 23% said no. So maybe they're in the same boat. I don't know.
I hope so. Yeah. That's good news. Yeah.
All right. So let me close these down for you and jump into it.
Well, there's two parts of the kitchen. There's the big giant pieces, the ovens, the fryers, everything else. And then there's the smallwares. And I think your team has to have the right tools to produce your menu. And so it comes down to the small things, the staging racks, the tongs, the serving pans, all these things. They make a huge difference to your team that you're doing something to help them out, help them do their job, basically. And in a small way, even small family entertainment centers, explore compact commercial dishwashers. Their labor savings are real. I mean, I know for firsthand that non-alcoholic centers, geared to teenagers, that kind of stuff, they save between 30 and 35 hours a week of dishwashing. That pays for itself very quickly. And you throw in a high temperature, so then you don't have to the sanitizer and the chemicals thing. So there's some real benefits to it if you're taking a look at it. And they're not that expensive. So and now I'm at the serving propositions there, Rebecca. And I think we just went through. Everybody asked. Most people, 77% are on board with this right here. So there's no. But you think condiments and price it in. Think Chick-fil-A. They put theirs out there as many as you want. You can take as many ketchups if you want. So that's the condiments out there. They've always had it like that, so they didn't have to change anything. And then on your drink side, think Wendy's. McDonald's and Burger King are self-serve, but Wendy's has always been served by the guests. So you got to think Wendy's on your single serve. And most of my customers now are using a cup to fill and then pour into the guest drink, or give them a whole new cup. But there's no more refills, that kind of thing. So, and the sauces, all your sauces go to the 1 ounce pre-packaged portion cups as well. Think Hooters, they give you the sauce now on the side. You don't even know the dipping sauce. And the non-contact package serving, everything being, a lot of places are going, a lot of counties and cities and states are mandating that. Not necessarily people want to do that. So again, a lot of this will be dictated by your health department, not necessarily what you want to do or what I suggest. It's local health department. And on your menus, you can have the menu board up there, but also at the tables, people are using the QR code, so it comes right to their phone. So that's an easy way to do it. And a lot of places are going to order from the phone. And I was in one where they were taping, it's old fashioned, they were taping them to the table and then putting the clear plastic on top of it, like my grandmother's couch had for years. She put it on there and there it is. You can see right there, that way you do it. And then the other one is the paper menus. People are handing them out disposable, but I thought it was pretty clever. It's kind of funny.
That's a great idea to use the QR code. I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
And if you haven't done QR codes before on this webinar, if you Google QR code generator, anyone can create a QR code, save the image, put it on any materials you want.
Yeah, it's right there. It's super easy and fast, and it comes right to their phone, and so it makes it a lot easier, But
these days, all you got to do is turn your camera on and hold it up to a QR code too. Just hit that camera icon.
Yeah, it's becoming real popular. And so I think all these things set a positive, proactive signal to your guests and your consumers that you're being proactive and you're doing something. It's just one of those visible things, And I think when you do all this, as you make your changes, I'm sure 77% of people have. So as you go and make your changes, price them in to your overall packet. Chick-fil-A assumes everybody's getting some ketchup, some sauce, a napkin, a straw. That's in the price on their menu board. So just price it in and run with it. I think you'd be a lot better off. Okay. Now I'm down to the top selling items. This is the top selling items. There's no mystery to them. Everybody knows them. They have a proven track record of generating sales and profit. It's almost like the big bass wheel. Same thing. You got to have it, right? Same thing. So they have a record of that. Also, there's an entire ecosystem around the top selling items, ingredients, distribution, equipment, marketing. Everybody understands them. Anybody can order them, so that you're not going out on a limb. No customization in this environment that we're in. Here's the actual list. This is the 18th year I did this. And in 18 years, it's really a trick question. Only one thing has changed on this list in 18 years. And it's kind of a trick question because no one will really get it. But, and that's bottled water. With the advent of trampoline parks, they go through more bottled water than anybody. But other than that, that's the only thing that's changed on here. So it's pretty interesting. And this is real data.
What did it change to, Jim? It changed in the number?
Yeah. Bottled water didn't exist before as a top selling item. Never existed. Now it's bolted up to number 9, Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, it didn't even exist before. Yeah. And these things hardly change even if you introduced a full liquor bar and even in at a larger family entertainment center. The only thing that jumps up there is a burger and fries basket, a chicken basket, or something like that, chicken tenders and basket. That's the only thing that changes in this if you go to a full liquor. And I've done this for 18 years, okay? I mean, it's never changed, nothing. Now, we went through about 100 menus of our customers, and then we went around town and grabbed some. We look at this. We also have, I also have the top selling items in 3 different tiers for every category, from appetizers, plate, desserts, drinks, everything. And if you email me, I'd be glad to send that to you. It's basically data that you can leverage and take a look at and see, but I'd be glad to send that on there. And as you can see, the next slide there, pizza and drinks lead the way. And this doesn't change. Again, this does not change in an environment where there's a full bar or anything else. So you can see, I can almost make a case in many places, even with just a beer and wine license, that, I mean, listen, it sounds self-serving, but pizza and drinks, look at that. That's a huge number right there. And if you add in the party items, which is mostly pizza and pitchers, you can get away with a very streamlined menu. And we've had the data to prove this. So I wanted to show that. The trap of trendy foods. Let's go take a look at that. This is one of my favorite slides of all time. It's one that generates the most. That one, yeah. This generates the most arguments. It's unbelievable when I talk about this or get a conversation with people, because what happens is I think this slide cuts to the heart of guest satisfaction, because you cannot be everything to everybody. You just can't do it, especially when you're only given a window of Friday, half of Friday, all Saturday, and a little bit of Sunday. You got to own the items that sell, okay? And so many people come to me and they say, here's the thing. There's a lot of noise out there. Now we hear the Impossible Burger, plant-based this, gluten-free, free-range chicken, save the whales, all this stuff, okay? I've heard it all, okay? And thank you for laughing a little bit there. And 99% of these trends are not economically sustainable in your FEC. And that's really important to understand, because I want to see the whales. I get it. I don't want to hurt the whales. I love baby seals, but it's just not the place for this, okay? And I can tell you, I'll give you 2 quick stories. I have a customer in downtown San Francisco, and they got going, and they're like, Jim, do you have a gluten-free crust? I'm like, well, no, we don't, but Venice Bacon in California makes a great gluten-free crust. I highly recommend it. Fantastic company, make a great product. And I said to him, do you sell a lot of it? And he goes, oh no, we don't sell any of it, but I have to have it on the menu so I don't get in trouble. And so I'm like, there you have it, okay? The other thing I can tell you is that we at Perky's Pizza, we were involved in a project from beginning to end with a pizzeria, a really cool pizzeria. It was like one of the Blaze types and these kind of things. And it was basically about 500 or 600 yards from the entrance of Facebook. Okay. Now I'll pick on Facebook just a little. that's the ground zero for everything politically correct, right? I mean, oh man, they've got it, they got it surrounded. Okay, God bless them. Okay, so we had gluten-free, we had whole wheat, we had everything, cauliflower crust. Okay, couldn't give it away, couldn't give it away in there. All of them were less than 2 or 3% of change. I mean, they didn't work, you know. So the problem is as an operator, you have to filter out the noise, okay, so you don't lose your mind. The last thing I say there, okay, because what happens is over the last few months, if everybody remembers, Burger King came out with the meatless, you know, the Whopper, right? The Impossible Burger, meatless burger. I can't remember the name of it. What they did, they backed it up with $500 million worth of advertising to convince you that, and they put the cowboy on. They go, oh wow, this is good, you know. Well, okay, you know, okay, so that's noise, okay? That's not a trend, and that doesn't translate into sales inside a family entertainment center, okay? So you have to, it's a tough thing to do, and you have to block out the noise, okay? Because it's really hard. And at this point in time, right now coming on the scene are plant-based pizza toppings, okay? That's the next wave that's coming out there, okay? There's no data to make informed decisions on this. It's all emotional. Oh, so many customers are asking for it. Well, tell me how many, okay? Because you have from Friday noon to Sunday at noon to get it done, okay? So, so you have to block out the noise when it comes to these trends. Because they're profit killers in the end. That's what they are. Okay, let's go to the next one, because this is the economics of food trends.
Is now a good time to throw a question at you, or you want to wait?
No, I'll take it. I'll take it.
All right. So we've got a question from Christy. What recommendations do you have for someone who has been in business for 20 years and has evolved constantly over the years?
I would, well, first of all, go back to your unique item. Do they have a unique item? Do they have something that people come in and go, oh, have you had that blank? That's the first thing I'd look at. Develop a unique item. Second, send me their menu and let me take a look at it. Because there's small changes you can make that make a big difference to you, especially somebody who's been there for 20 years. Maybe you go, I'll just pick on hamburgers for a second. If you're serving just a regular bun, order in the sesame buns, order in the whole wheat, or order in the King's Hawaiian buns. I mean, just some little odd little changes like that on 3 or 4 items can make a huge difference to your repeat customers. So for sure, yeah. But I'd start with a unique item if you have one. And if you have one and it's not working, if you think it's kind of dead, make a new one. Yeah. So we talked about the food trends and the emotional connection, and I get it, man, because there's so much noise out there. Social media, Yelp. Oh, I went there, they didn't have gluten-free. Okay, all right, well, you know, first of all, I'm picking on gluten-free because it's sort of like kosher, okay? It has to be cooked, it has to be prepped, cooked, and served in a separate area to be considered gluten-free. If you go to these places like Blaze Pizza, okay, you look up, you walk in, and up when they have a big giant menu board that says gluten-free products. That's great. But you know what they have on the sneeze guard when you pay? They have a little sticker about this big that says, if you really have lactose intolerant gluten-free, you should probably go somewhere else and not eat here because it's not gluten-free. It's served where there's other gluten-free stuff, you know? So you got to be real careful about those kind of things. You know, the noise versus reality, there's a big gap right there, you know? But that's the emotional side. Here's the economic cost, okay? It's just, they're higher cost of goods. Right now, I can tell you right now that I wish I had it right here. It's the plant, they can't call it a meatless burger because the beef industry is suing the meatless people because you can't call it a burger, you can't call it meatless chicken. It's a mess out there. You can't call it meatless pepperoni. You can't call it that. So it's plant-based, pepperoni flavored. I don't even know. But the ingredients are like this long, and But usually they're running 30 to 40% higher for the same pepperoni and sausage that you're barely serving over the weekend. So it makes no sense. So the cauliflower gluten-free crust, they're fantastic. They're great. But if you go to Costco or Trader Joe's, right, they're $4 or $5 for just the crust. And that's usually 10 or 12 inches. A fully prepped cheese pizza, 14 to 16 inches is less than $4. So, you know, and to sell fewer of those items. So you got to be careful when you look at this, you know, and they have shelf lives, and more importantly, you're cannibalizing sales, okay? You're cannibalizing sales from items that sell, you know, that we just went through, the top sellers. Okay, so that's that's the item. And the last thing I'll say to you is, I really believe your business is not a social experiment. It just not. It's not. I don't. And people who do it are the ones who can sustain the losses and put up with a high food cost. But I don't think it's a place to experiment like that, because there's no data to support it. So all right, well, let's go down and look at. I think I'd like to take a history lesson here from everybody's familiar with In-N-Out, right? In-N-Out is the all-time champion of simplicity and execution. They prove that limited menus work, okay? And the most amazing thing about In-N-Out Burger is, if everybody's been or anything else, despite the last 5 or 6 years, an onslaught of burger chains, right? Everywhere, okay? In-N-Out just keeps going up and up, and they're just pummeling them because they execute. You know what you're going to get every time. And it's funny because I love the Snyder family. I'm from Southern California. I was raised. I probably In-N-Out before I had milk. You know, and you know he was the last president here. It's hard enough to sell hamburgers, fries, and drinks right, and when you start at things, it gets worse. They added a lemon lime soda during his 19 years as president. And the crazy thing is, he died 22 years ago in a plane crash. So they haven't had any, in 40 plus years, they've only added one item, okay, and it was a drink and a beverage. And still, they go up and up and up. So when if you decide to even streamline your menu even more, take comfort and have confidence in your decision to do it, because there's precedent for it, okay? So, all right, well, so let's go, let's keep going down there. Let's get some takeaways. I think your food and beverage area must be considered an important part of your guest experience. I mean, this is where it just has to be. It starts with the ownership stuff from the top down, and you just have to make it an integral part of it, okay? And it should be done with pride. Back it up with small and powerful investments in equipment and smallwares. It'll pay dividends. Your team will recognize it. It'll produce better items. It'll work. Back it up with incentives for your crew. I think the food and beverage place should be the funnest place to work. You know, and you should make the most money back there. You should have people wanting to get in there and work. All right, and then back it up with internal marketing and social media. It's so easy nowadays. Anybody can get on there, and you can pump up, you know, your 1 item, 2 items, your specials. I mean, it's almost free now, advertising for your own business. Follow the industry. I say McDonald's. They're the #1 franchise of all time. Okay, and I don't say, don't start selling hamburgers and French fries and go copy their menu. That's not what I'm talking about. Look at McDonald's from the macro level, because by the time McDonald's has done something, and by the way, they just dropped the meatless burger operation in Canada last week. They're done. They're off of that experiment. So watch the macro of McDonald's, because by the time they make decisions, if you hear about it, what they're doing, and by the time they make the decision where it gets to the menu or not, they've spent millions of dollars on it, okay? Millions, okay? So basically, you're getting free R&D if you follow McDonald's, okay? Now, you don't have the exact same item or that, but what I'm talking about is follow the general trends of McDonald's, because they set the tone, and you can leverage that millions of dollars worth of experience in there. And then follow Nation's Restaurant News. They have a great website. They have a great updates all the time. Nation's Restaurant News, or excuse me, IAPA has their own food and beverage section. They have a daily feed that comes out, and there's always stuff in there. And then your association-specific magazines that you have. You know, if you're a water park, you should be in the Water Park Association. You should do all these, because they almost have a food component almost every single time. Then I really believe the most important thing you can do to increase guest satisfaction in overall is cook fewer items more often. It's proven, it works, you'll get credit for it, the guests will recognize it. You carry less inventory, you have better quality ingredients, they're freshly prepared, and you can serve it hot, you know, because that's what people are looking for in this environment, you know. And the last thing I'll say is that it's very simple execution is more impressive to guests than a large menu, okay? I mean, that's what's impressive, is the execution. If you put it on the menu and you execute it consistently, and it's coming out hot and fresh, that's what generates repeat business in your food and beverage operation. That cuts down on your customer complaints. That improves the overall guest experience, because that's everybody's looking for, is that overall guest experience, okay? And so that's, if you simply execute a small menu items, hot and fresh, time and time again, you will get credit for it, and over the long term, you definitely get more sales generated out of it, you know. And I have to say, I'm very optimistic about our industry. I think it's going to recover short-term, be some speed bumps, but I'm very, very optimistic about the future, and I'm very optimistic about the food and beverage operation too. So that's all I have, Rebecca.
Thank you so much, Jim. That's awesome. I'm going to go ahead and open this up for questions now. For Jim, if you have any specific questions, throw them in the Q&A or in the chat area, whichever one you find first.
Oh, wait.
I've got a question here from Brian. Should an FEC follow McDonald's lead of serving a variety of coffee products? That's an interesting question.
Well, yeah, well, they put in the whole entire McCafe, that's for sure. I think you could do a scaled down version of that. Absolutely. I don't see why not. There's equipment and ways to do it. I think you just, again, it all comes back to be smart about it. And again, have 2 or 3 things that you're really good at and order and give out free samples for a couple of weeks and see people say, oh, this is better. I think I'll skip Starbucks and go in there. It's much better. But yeah, absolutely. I mean, they have their McCafe was meant to compete with Starbucks, and that's what they're doing. But I think you can do some smaller versions of that. Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Cool. And this isn't a question, but maybe we could chat about it. Someone threw a comment in the chat and they said that they actually sell gluten-free pizzas fairly often in Washington State. So must have a demographic there that's looking for some gluten-free.
Here's the thing. When everybody says, oh, we sell gluten-free. We sell a lot of gluten-free. Put a number to it. Tell me how many pizzas you're selling a week and give me a number. If you're selling, again, if it's less than 10% of your sales, it's a waste of inventory. It's a waste of time. And again, it's not really gluten-free if it's being made on the same oven in the same prep unit. It's not a big deal. That's not a scare tactic. But I always hear people, oh, we sell a lot of. Finish that sentence. Show me the data. I believe I work off of data, not emotional connections in food and beverage. I work off of data, and there's simply not. I mean, I just happen to know this. I can't say what chain it is, but if it weren't for social ostracization, they wouldn't even carry it. But they have to. But when I hear the word, I sell a lot of in a family entertainment center. I don't know what's a lot. If you're selling 200 or 300 pizzas a week and 50 of them are gluten free, that's getting there. A case is 40. So yeah, you're getting there. But if you're selling 10 or 11, 12 on a Saturday, I think it's a waste. And it's not because of the venue, it's not because of the person or everything else, because the people who are lactose intolerant, for sure, not a lifestyle, but the people who are lactose intolerant, 99.9% of them just eat before they get there, eat afterwards. I mean, I just know that. I have friends that are like that. They don't participate in reindeer games like that. Say they don't do it. The lifestyle choice is one thing. The actual lactose intolerant and the gluten allergy, that's another. And those people tend to bring their own food or make arrangements and that kind of stuff. So it's a trade-off, And I'm glad to hear somebody selling gluten-free. That's great,
Yeah, that's a good point, though, Jim. You're right. I do run into that quite a bit with folks too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just have a comment to make about you saying simplifying the menu. I could not agree more, because when I go to a restaurant, not even an SEC, but like a restaurant, if they have, a 1-page back and forth or even just a 1-page single-sided menu, it just gives you, even though you're limited in choices, it gives you that impression that like, wow, these choices must be very good. And
yeah.
I don't want to pick on the restaurant, but I won't even go to the Cheesecake Factory anymore because their menu is like 15 pages long. And you just know that not a lot of care could be being put into that, so I think simplicity is better a lot of the time.
Sure.
Well, and Megan, and it's funny you say that, because the Cheesecake Factory is just the menu matches the place. They're big, they're bright, they're really cool. I mean, that's fine, but execution is what people are looking for right now. They're looking for a simple execution, and you just have to do that. You'll get credit for it.
We did have a circle back on the folks selling gluten-free pizzas in Washington. We sell about gluten-free pizza about 1 party per day. Not a lot, but a fair amount. Another comment we had, I don't think I wouldn't not offer it if you were capable. Excluding someone based on an intolerance is not good business. Thank you for your comment, Jenna. And then we had a question. Christy, is there an easier way to measure the cheese on the pizza? We have high school, college-age kids who like to be heavy-handed.
Listen, yes, have her call me. I don't know who wrote that in. I will show you. I will demonstrate how we do it. I mean, there's definitely ways to do it. We can eliminate all that kind of stuff. I mean, and I'll get in touch with me and I'll do a partial demonstration for you how to do that for sure. It's the Perky's Pizza secret. Yeah. So Come
I
on,
love it. Do you have a scale built into your hand at this point?
we just kind of know, but man, where's some other questions, man? It's food and beverage. Usually people are very emotional about it, get really mad at me for saying don't serve gluten free and some other stuff. But very well behaved crowd. Thank you. Yeah.
Well, I'm waiting for them. Yeah, throw your questions in, you guys. Now is the time to chat. Throw your questions, comments. If you're mad, just let us know.
Yeah. Well, food and beverage. Yeah, I mean, food and beverage is a tough operation in a tough environment, And Megan, I went to my favorite brewing place last week, and we had to ask for the menu. We had to ask to make an order. We had to ask for that, and they hadn't cut back on anything, and it was just, I was like, man, come on, They used to have 10, 15 waitresses every night when you're there. Now they have 3 doing the same thing, and I'm like, it's just, I don't know how you don't see that as yourself, And somebody, I just don't know how you don't recognize that you gotta, it's going to be a tough environment for the next 6 to 12 months, hopefully less, but I'm just guessing. And now's the time. It's a great time to streamline your operation even more. So all of those 77% people who said they streamlined, I'll bet I could cut 10 more items off of those things for sure. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, and you'd be surprised. We got a comment and a question. I'll start with the comment because it was about the gluten-free pizzas following up. The gluten-free requests used to really annoy me, but we finally just embraced it. But I agree, it's a pain and costs more. We do charge extra.
That's a great operator right there. Yeah, it's like my guy in San Francisco. He's like, no, we don't sell any, but I get beat up for not having it on the menu. So yeah. Good for them for recognizing that. That's the spirit right there. Yeah,
awesome. I think that's what happens a lot of the time is that people they'd rather have it as an option because they get the question so many times, and it's almost like you're disappointing or letting the guests down, but you have to weigh it. It's like, you can only do it if you can afford to have the option, it's being accommodating, but at what cost?
That was pretty funny. That was good.
And we have an anonymous question for you, Jim. Will you be at IAPA this year?
Of course, booth 100 in the corner for the 11th straight year. Thank you very much. Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, IAPA went from 2 halls down to 1, so it's going to be pretty busy.
What are some examples of a specialty item that some FECs include on their menus that are big sellers?
I'll tell you the most popular right now that I've seen coming on the menu is has anybody been to Gordon Biersch? The big giant places. They're really big locations. They're breweries and all. Anyway, they have, and now I've seen this a lot of places, is they use the Bavarian style pretzel that are about this big around, good size, and they have 2 circles in there. In one circle they put some cheese, okay, and the other one they slice up some summer sausage or some kielbasa or something like, and then put that in there, and then pair it with a Coke, a beverage, a beer, or something like that. But that pretzel is becoming very popular right now. It's working, and in places that don't have the fancy cheese, whatever, and using your nacho cheese and put it in there and put in some pepperoni or some sausage or something else in there. That's I'm seeing that more and more because it's a great food cost. It's easy to prep. The other one that's easy and is always something pizza related. They usually do. I mean, shakaroni. I still can't get over that double pepperoni. It's unbelievable. But so they'll pick the toppings they have now and maybe come up with something and do something preposterous like I don't know, double pepperoni or the meat lovers, where they have every meat they have on their prep unit, they put on there and they put a little double cheese on there. But they, experiment around with your team, your staff, and maybe one night or one day, you're busy. Ask your consumers, man, put 4 or 5 pizzas out there and ask them which one they like the best, Or the other thing, specialty item is it's kind of a second tier, but then they're doing a specialty pizza for winter, spring, summer, and fall. Then they just repeat it every year. Summertime you do like a Hawaiian, or something like that. In the fall you do meat liver, something heavier, that kind of stuff. In the spring you do like a white sauce. You can use Alfredo sauce or ranch dressing and put some chicken and veggies on there. So it kind of takes on different life. But I would focus on that one item and start with your regional item. Like, what are you known for in your region? And then start with that. But the pretzels and the pizzas have the best food cost, and you get a little more for them. That's why people tend to focus on those unique items, But
follow up to the specialty item question: would you recommend a family or personal recipe as a specialty item, regional item such as beignets, or in Louisiana, for instance?
Oh, Louisiana doesn't count, man. They own this. They own the specialty market. Yeah, for sure. I mean, it has a place. Depends on the family recipe. You know, like I said, my mom makes the best meatloaf in the entire world and potato salad, but she's not there 7 days a week making it. Okay, so if you're gonna think you'd have this 12-item, gumbo recipe to put in there, and your teenager, somebody said it on there, your part-time coworker who's 17 years old is gonna miss 3 of the ingredients. You got to take a look at that. But if you take ownership of it and you make it on Thursday, and you can serve it, it holds Friday, Saturday, Sunday, then so be it. Absolutely. And if there's any place that screams out for a regional, especially the item, something fun, I mean, New Orleans is ground zero for that. So, and New Louisiana for sure. I mean, you almost have to have that in Louisiana, especially down like that, for sure. Mm-hmm.
Chris wants to know, does Perky's have a dessert pizza?
Yes, we do. We have a great dessert pizza. I mean, unbelievable. And it's really easy. I'll give you the recipe. Crust. You take your pie filling. It could be apple, cherry, blackberry, anything you want. Put some breadcrumbs mix on there. You mix graham crackers and butter. Put on top of there, man. And then some streusel. Oh man, so good. Yes, I have the recipe. Yep.
Jim, we have to hurry up now because I'm starving.
Yep.
I know. I ate lunch before this, and I'm hungry again.
Oddly enough, we have an even better breakfast recipe because many parks are open on Saturday and Sunday really early, so we have a great breakfast recipe. But yeah, the dessert pizza is very good. Yeah. And you know what? The other thing about the specialty is it could be something funny. And I know if you have a sandwich, if you're serving a sandwich now, cut that thing like 8 pieces and put toothpicks in it. Something silly like that is really cool. And the other thing is pizzas they call it Chicago cut or a French cut. Cut it up in squares. You don't have to have slices. Cut it up in squares. I mean, so just mix it up. Do something different. But don't bring in Mediterranean wraps with mandarins. They're not going to order. They're not going to buy them. Okay, do something with what you have. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Well, I don't have any more questions pending. If you still have a question, be sure to throw it in. I guess we'll circle back. One more comment about the gluten-free crust. Christy threw out here, honestly, the gluten-free items make it to where you allow that one person in the group to feel included. For her, worth keeping a case of crust in the freezer, just in case.
Well, Chrissy, I could tell her that she understands her and knows her audience very well, and sometimes that's more important than anything else.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Well, anybody else got questions? I will wait and see if any others come in while we do that. Just a reminder that we put out a new resource every single month to help you to grow your business. So please be sure to check out our website, the resources tab, to find new resources. We will also be including some resources in the follow-up email to this webinar so that you've got some great stuff coming your way. And of course, as always, be sure to stay tuned. We typically do these webinars on the last Thursday of the month, with sometimes some exceptions, but next webinar will be the last Thursday of August, and we will have Jason Barnaby from Fire Starters on our webinar, so you won't want to miss that.
That's great.
And let's see, questions, where email menu. Can you come visit Christy in New Orleans?
Yes, I'm on my way. I love New Orleans. Yes.
Awesome. Well, Christy, his email will be in the. She says she'll feed you the follow-up email to this webinar, which will be sent out. If you're watching live right now, it will be sent out tomorrow morning. So keep an eye for that. Jim, what's your email address in case she wants to email you right now? Jim at perkyspizza.com.
Perkyspizza.com. Yep.
There you go. So if you need him today,
I'm here.
He's ready to go.
Yes. And I'm hungry. Yes.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much to Jim and Ann for putting this wonderful webinar together and for joining us and talking all about food and beverage in the industry. We appreciate you so much.
Thank you for having me. It was great. It's a lot of fun.
Awesome. And thank you so much for everybody that joined on today's webinar. We appreciate having you here, and we hope that this was super helpful for you as you're planning ahead and planning changes to your menus. Thank you guys all so much, and we will see you on the next one. Bye, everybody.
Bye.